Welcome to Nature Walk, the podcast where we explore the wonders of the natural world. I'm your host, David, and I'm excited to share some fascinating stories with you today. As we take our first steps on this journey, let's talk about a phenomenon that's affecting one of the most biodiverse regions on our planet, the tropics. A recent study has found that the timing of flowering in tropical plants has shifted over the past 2 centuries, and this change has significant implications for the entire ecosystem. Researchers analyzed data from museum specimens of 33 tropical species, dating back to 1794, and found that the timings of flowering had shifted by an average of 2 days a decade. This might not seem like a lot, but it's a significant change that can have cascading effects on the food chain and the delicate web of interactions within the ecosystem. The study showed that some plants are flowering earlier, while others are flowering later, and this disruption can cause problems for animals that rely on these plants for food and pollination. For example, if a flower needs to be pollinated by a migratory bird, but the timing no longer lines up, the flower won't get pollinated, and the bird won't get the nectar it needs. This change is not just limited to tropical regions, it's a global problem that affects us all. As one of the researchers noted, the tropics are at just as much risk as the temperate location you call home, and because of that, just as much effort is needed in the conservation of these ecosystems. As we continue on our nature walk, we'll explore more stories like this, highlighting the intricate relationships within the natural world and the impact of human activities on the environment. We'll be right back with more fascinating stories from the natural world on Nature Walk. Welcome back to Nature Walk. In our last segment, we talked about the importance of conservation efforts in protecting endangered species. Now, let's dive into a story that highlights the devastating impact of severe weather on seabird populations. A recent series of storms has caused widespread destruction and loss of life, not just for humans, but also for wildlife. The Atlantic coast of the UK and Europe has been battered by brutal storms, leaving thousands of seabirds dead or dying. The Royal Society for the Protection of Birds, or RSPB, has reported a significant increase in the number of dead seabirds washing up on beaches, with many more likely to have died at sea. The stormy weather has made it difficult for birds to feed, leaving them exhausted and vulnerable to the harsh conditions. The RSPB believes this is evidence of a seabird rex, a mass mortality event that can have a significant impact on already declining populations. In fact, 2/3 of UK seabird species are currently in decline, with many facing threats such as climate change, pollution, and habitat destruction. The full extent of the damage won't be known until the birds return to their breeding sites in the coming months, but conservationists are warning that this could be a major setback for already vulnerable populations. The RSPB is calling for better management of the fishing industry, increased protection of marine habitats, and stronger safeguards against invasive predators. As we consider the impact of these storms on seabirds, it's a reminder of the delicate balance of our ecosystem and the need for continued conservation efforts to protect our planet's precious wildlife. The effects of climate change are far-reaching, and it's up to us to take action to mitigate its impacts and ensure the long-term health of our environment. Welcome back to Nature Walk. Today, we've been taking you on a journey through the natural world, exploring the wonders of our planet and the creatures that call it home. But as we close out this episode, I want to take you to a place where the beauty of nature is being threatened by human conflict. Deep in the forests of Cameroon, a war has been raging for years, and it's having a devastating impact on the region's incredible wildlife. The forests of Cameroon are home to some of the most iconic and endangered species on the planet, including gorillas, chimpanzees, and pangolins. But, as the conflict escalates, these animals are finding themselves caught in the crossfire. Militias have taken over parts of the forest, using it as a hideout and a place to launch attacks on government forces. The result is a war zone where animals are being killed, either intentionally or unintentionally, and their habitats are being destroyed. Conservation efforts that were once underway to protect these incredible creatures have been put on hold, and many of the people who were working to safeguard the forest and its inhabitants have been forced to flee. The situation is dire, and it's unclear what the future holds for the animals of Cameroon's forests. But even in the midst of all this chaos, there are still glimmers of hope. Some conservationists are finding new ways to work with local communities to protect the forest and its wildlife, even as the war rages on. And there are still many people who are dedicated to preserving the natural beauty of Cameroon's forests, no matter what challenges they may face. As we close out this episode of Nature Walk, I want to leave you with a sense of the importance of preserving our natural world even in the face of adversity. The forests of Cameroon are just one example of the many incredible ecosystems that exist on our planet, and it's up to us to do everything we can to protect them. That's all for today's Nature Walk. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, keep exploring your natural world.